Well, hi folks, it's getting into June now, and as you can see I've been growing my leeks in this polystyrene box and they're just about ready to go in now. They're about 3 weeks later than last year and not quite as big because we've had such silly weather, but it's getting too hot in the polytunnel now, so they really need to go in, and I'm going to plonk them in this row there. Well, I'm going to do about 3 rows, so we'll just get on and show you how it's done. So first of all I'll just stick my camera back in its tripod and I'll just get the old leeks sorted out. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to just get them all out of this container and I'm going to try and separate them into didn't mean to do that, but it'll be alright. I'm going to separate them into individual plants. Pick all the biggest ones out for a start. So like I say, they're about right when they're about that size, about 15-18 inches tall. People say go for them when they're pencil thickness, but I always find that's a bit thick, you know, they want to be going in about that, that's about ideal. So we'll get on and we'll sort a few of these out. Like I say, look, they just come apart dead easily. So now they're ready to go in the old holes. So I'll just grab my camera again. So what I've got, if you can see, I've got a dibber of sorts. What it is it's a broken shaft of a spade, so, but it's ideal for the job. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make a hole. I've got a mark on it about 7 inches, and I'm just going to use this to, I'm going to push it into the soil and make a hole about 1.5 inches wide and about 7 to 8 inches deep, if you can see that. I'm just going to go along this. I've set up a line, a board, a scaffold board for a guide, and it's the same thing. I'm just going to keep going along, all the way along. I'm spacing these out about, I would say about 9 inches apart in the row, and the rows are going to be about, so obviously probably about 10 to 12 inches apart. So we'll get on and I'll just do this couple of rows of dibbing, and then I'll get on and show you how we're planting. So I'll just do this last hole now. That's just a couple of rows, 13 in the row. So if you see now I've done 26 holes there, like that. Now the next thing to do is, with your leeks, some people say you should trim half the roots off or a third of the roots off, and correspondingly trim half or a third of the leaves off. But I've tried it before and it doesn't make any difference to me. I did a whole row where I've trimmed half the roots and somewhere I didn't bother at all, so I just prefer to plant them like this. So in the hole, if you can see, I'm trying to do this holding the camera. The idea is just to drop a single leek in the hole, drop it right down to the bottom, and you'll see that only a few bits of leaves stick out at the top. And the reason we do it like this is to form the blanch, or the white part of the stem. So basically the white part grows basically underground and turns white. The stalk turns white, otherwise it'd turn, you know, it'd stay green. So that's the idea with that. So we'll just get on and do the rest of these, and then I'll show you the next stage. Right then folks, down to my last 2, so I'll just plonk the last 2 in, get the roots down to the bottom, and the final one of these 2 rows. So that's that bit done. Now the thing is with this is the shafts are hopefully going to grow up into the tubes and fill the tubes up. So what you shouldn't do, you should never ever fill the holes in, because if you fill the holes in, what you can do is you can get grit and soil between the leaves as they're growing, and you don't want that at all, because you'll end up with, you know, like sand in between the leaves, and that's when you get gritty leeks. So you just don't water them at all, fill them in or anything, you know, just give them this first watering in and then let nature take its course, and over the summer it'll just slowly fill in itself slowly, and then the shaft of the leek will fill the hole up. So anyway, the next thing to do once you've transplanted them is to do the watering. So this is a bit of a, well, not tricky, but a bit of a fiddly bit, so I'll get on and do that because I can't do this with one hand. So now what you've got to do is slowly fill in the holes with water, just enough to wash just a little bit of soil off the edge of the hole to cover the roots up. Now if you look at this, I've got a watering can with a bit of hose pipe in, so I don't disturb too much soil. I'll just put my thumb over the end and then get it right. Just a matter of filling the hole up with water which will wash just enough soil off the sides just to cover the roots up. So you just fill every hole in like that. So you're not filling in, just fill it up with water. Like I said, if you put a bit of hosepipe on your watering can, it doesn't have to make this job a lot easier. Because if you try it without it on, it just sprays everywhere. So it's as simple as that. It takes a few minutes, but you've only got to do it once, and then you shouldn't need to water them again, even if it's dry, because there'll be so much moisture down there when they're, you know, they're about 6 or 7 inches deep. And this will wash enough soil off the sides just to cover the roots up and get them started. So that's it, really. Transplanting leeks, that's the way I do it. So it's quite a fiddly task, but they look after themselves after that, and then they don't seem to have too many pests. So you just leave them to grow away, and that's it, job done. So that's that done, folks. I've got about 50 leeks planted now. I've got some a bit closer than others, like this last row. I've planted them a little bit closer, and I can take those when they're a little bit smaller. So that's planting leeks done. It's a bit of a faff of a job, but you've only got to do it once, and then they look after themselves. So that's about it, folks. Transplanting leeks. See you later.